We all experience emotions almost every minute of every day. Some emotions are easy and some emotions are very hard. Let's start out by naming our 6 primary emotions: happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, surprise, and lastly, today's topic of conversation, anger. Specifically, controlling or managing anger. I think you can agree there's been a situation where your emotions of anger was out of control. Unfortunately, it has happened to all of us. Out of control anger is followed by regret, a strained relationship, or even a broken relationship. When this happens, it is important to apologize for your behavior as quickly as possible. It might sound like, "I'm sorry for yelling at you. I was angry, but I realize it's never okay to yell. Next time, I want to let you know what's going on with a calm voice." Controlling anger is challenging for all of us. Although you know what anger feels like and can relate to the regret that follows, let's define anger. Anger is the strong emotion we feel when something bad happens to us. Before we can talk about controlling our anger, let's talk about some of the triggers that cause us to become angry. We are all unique, so what triggers your anger is unique to you. But here are some common triggers for many of us. When someone is mean or unfair to you is probably the most common anger trigger. Your anger may also be triggered when you lose a game. Another anger trigger might be when something is hard or confusing. Your anger might be triggered when you don't get your way. I'm sure you can think of a trigger or two unique to you. Knowing what triggers your anger is the first step in controlling your anger. So why is it important to control your anger? First, controlling your anger puts you in charge. If you don't control your anger will control you. Also, it is important to control your anger for improved health. Our heart rate and blood pressure rise with uncontrolled anger. This is evidenced by a face turning red during a fit of rage. Next, controlling your anger leads to healthy relationships at home, school, work, and wherever else you find yourself. Finally, controlling your anger is important in creating peaceful events in the community. I think we've all witnessed someone getting agitated and even angry while waiting in line too long. It doesn't normally make the line shorter, but it makes the experience uncomfortable for all. So let's roll up our sleeves and learn some ways to control this big emotion called anger. Keep in mind, we can't eliminate this feeling, but we can learn to manage it. There are 3 important rules to follow when experiencing anger. First, don't hurt yourself. Second, don't hurt someone else by lashing out verbally or physically. And third, don't hurt property, whether that be yours or somebody else's. All of these will lead to regrets and eventually unhealthy relationships. Okay, I want you to look at various ways to manage or control this big emotion called anger. It will be important to consider what works for you in settling your anger down. First, when you feel angry, stop and consider how you feel. It's like pressing a pause button and stating to yourself, "I feel angry." Next, take a few deep breaths. Also, counting 1, 2, 3 while taking those deep breaths can be helpful as well. Something else that might work is telling someone you trust how you're feeling. It's called venting a little bit. You may also want to try listening to music as a way to calm down when you're feeling angry. For some, it helps to draw or write about how they're feeling. For others, going on a walk or playing a physical sport can be helpful when dealing with this emotion. For many people, it can be helpful to create space away from the other person that is upsetting them. So just taking a break. Another idea is positive self-talk, like this feeling of anger is going to pass, or this relationship is just too important to let my anger get out of control. Again, we're all unique, and how you control your anger will be unique to you. Be prepared next time by considering which strategies are helpful for you when feeling angry. We've all seen what happens when a shaken can of pop is opened. Anger is like a shaken can of pop. If you don't figure out how to let out some pressure like pop, you will explode, creating a mess on you and those around you. So be prepared next time by considering which ideas are helpful in letting out some of the anger in a healthy way. Let's wrap it up with some final thoughts. If you see someone else angry, it's important to give them some space to cool down. When you see they've cooled down, it can be helpful to ask if they're okay or if there's anything you can do to help. Also, being tired or hungry can make it extra difficult to control anger. So it's important to stay rested and plan for meals and snacks throughout your day. One last thought. If you have someone in your life that is dealing with out of control anger, get help. This can be an emotionally abusive situation and can turn into a physically abusive situation for you. If you ever find yourself in this type of unhealthy relationship, you need to share what's going on with a person you trust. I want to wrap it up by reminding you, anger is a normal emotion. Although we've talked about the hard part of dealing with anger, there are times when anger can be helpful in keeping you safe. For example, if you are being bullied, anger would probably rise up inside. As long as you don't bully the person back, this anger can be helpful in keeping you safe from being bullied in the future. Talk about this situation with a parent, guardian, or teacher in your life. Hopefully this has helped prepare you for the next time you feel the big emotion of anger. Remember, naming the feeling and taking a deep breath can make all the difference next time in maintaining a healthy relationship. I want to encourage you to stay connected to others and stay safe.